A lovely morning to our participants and guests. Welcome to the fifth session of the Environmental Law Teachers Online Training Program. This training program is delivered by the Legal Education Board in partnership with the Asian Development Bank, International Union for Conservation of Nature, Academy of Environmental Law, and the UN Environment Program. I am Attorney Maria Rumina Bigumal, Program Coordinator of the Legal Education Board, and I will be your host for today. For our topics for today's session, we will be having a syllabus review workshop where you will discuss the essential elements of the syllabus for environmental law. Participants will have pre-assigned breakout rooms, and admission notice will be flashed on the screens to each participant. Once the admission notice is on the screen, participants will be able to go to their pre-assigned breakout rooms by clicking the join button. For the instructions on how the breakout room will proceed, our resource speaker will guide you in today's session. Before we get started, for a brief recap of our last session, we discussed the topic on key environmental issues and recent developments in environmental law with a resource speaker, Attorney Griselda Mayo, and the last week. Attorney Anda's lecture is a continuation of the first session's topic and focus on the pressing environmental issues of the country. Last week, participants were divided into groups via breakout rooms and worked on Google Slides for presenting their outputs. After that, a plenary presentation then proceed. Now, to begin our session, I'd like to go over our house rules. So today's sessions will only begin once you've consented to the recording of the session. Kindly mute your microphone while waiting for others to join in and when not speaking during the session. You can also use the chat box options if you have questions or comments, and you may react via clicking the reaction option and interact with our speakers and guests. We also would like to request everyone to turn off their video camera after the taking of our picture to lessen the amount of bandwidth. But you may also open your video camera during today's session to have a more active participation with co-participants. The links for the registration form as well as the evaluation form will also be sent in the chat box. We remind everyone to fill up the registration form to confirm your attendance and as well as the evaluation form after today's session. We also invite everyone to join us for an interview. In the beginning of today's session, we played a video presentation with two of our partner participants, and they shared their contributions and insights on environmental law. So for those who wish to share their experience in our training program, the link to the interview form will be sent to the chat box, and you may fill it up to schedule an interview session with us. As an announcement, the 11th session of the training program scheduled on December 8, 2021 will be a non-mandatory session since the said date is a declared holiday. With that, you only need to comply at least 8 of the 11th session of the training program. All right, to formally begin our session, let me introduce to you our invited resource speaker for today. Our research speaker is born in Myanmar but grew up in Sweden and in the United States. He received an Endeavor Research Grant in 2018 and was a Fulbright Scholar. He is currently working on projects supported by the International Commission of Jurists, Danish Institute of Human Rights. He also conducts projects with Konrad Adenauer Stiftung and the United Nations Development Program. Our research speaker conducts several researches and studies recognized by funding awards from both academic and policy communities, particularly focused on rule of law and with case studies from human rights and environmental issues, and has a direct relevance for international aid organizations promoting rule of law policy reforms within the Asia-Pacific region. As a result of his research, it incorporates a synergetic relationship with international aid organization with his scholarship drawing on case studies arising from international aid projects while simultaneously informing their agendas. He received a PhD and JD from the University of Southern California and an MS from the University of Washington and a BS from California Institute of Technology or Caltech. He has currently been assigned as Associate Professor for Australian National University. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Associate Professor Jonathan Lajugat.
Thanks, Maria. And good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you again. As you hopefully you remember that we met the first time at the very first session, and it's good to come back. We have a lot to do today, so I'll just be very brief and sort of describing what we're doing for the rest of the Zoom session. What I'll do, I'm going to share my screen and just to help everyone review. Hopefully this does not. Hopefully there's no disasters when I do this. Okay, let me try this now. Okay, so on your screen, you should see the PowerPoint for today. And this is basically talking about the syllabus. So the idea of a syllabus for environmental law. And you just have I have a picture here of a syllabus from environmental law syllabus from India. And I give you the link to a YouTube video that sort of talks about this. But I think it's just a good introduction to help everyone orient their thinking. As you recall, from the very first session, I had presented a framework to help everyone think about what should be in an environmental law syllabus. I had said that there were three things that we should think about. One is curriculum placement. The second thing was the nature of the content that we want in an environmental law course. And then the third thing was pedagogy, about what kind of teaching methods. So today, because we're focusing only on the syllabus, the assumption is we're just talking about a single subject with a single semester length course. So we're going to set aside the discussion about curriculum placement and instead just focus only on the content that we want covered within a syllabus. And then the pedagogy, if anything, that we want to include or mention when we're assembling a syllabus. And that's all. And so over the course of the past few sessions, I think that you've had 4 so far. I think you've had lots of discussion, lots of presentations. And so today I'm not giving you anything specifically new. Instead, today is meant to be an opportunity for all of you to now try and apply what you've received and learned over the course of the past 4 sessions. So today is meant to be much more interactive and to be much more practice oriented and to allow everyone an experiential process of working on a syllabus together in groups. So we're going to do this in terms of 2 activities. So one activity is going to focus specifically on content, the kind of content that should be in a syllabus. And the second activity is going to focus on the pedagogy that we want to mention in a syllabus. So again, referring back to the very first session that I had spoken to you, I presented to you this particular table about the elements of the content in a syllabus. So this, I had organized this into a framework about topics that we want to see covered in environmental law syllabus, the kinds of knowledge systems we want to mention or include in part of the syllabus. What do we want to have students think about or learn regarding environmental law institutions, environmental law instruments, domestic law or international law, environmental law cases, or scholarly articles on environmental law. Right? So what is it that should be in a syllabus on these particular 6 components? So what we're going to do here is that we're going to have a group activity, a total of 45 minutes. You'll be in breakout groups, 15 minutes. Each group will be working on a single syllabus. And what I want you to do in your groups is that when you start to work on the syllabus, think about what topics should be added to the syllabus or what topics should be changed in the syllabus. What knowledge systems do you think should be included or mentioned in the syllabus? What kinds of institutions, international or domestic environmental institutions you think should be mentioned within the syllabus? What kinds of law cases scholarly sources do you think are relevant and should be mentioned in the syllabus? So this is your opportunity to work in groups and to add that all together. We were very lucky in the sense that we had seven people donate their syllabi for all of us to use. And so they've been distributed across the various groups. Now, once you're done with your groups, what I ask is that you nominate a spokesperson and a secretariat. A secretariat will be responsible for making the changes onto the Google Docs online. So therefore it's recorded for everyone. And then also a spokesperson so that when you come back into plenary, you'll be ready to make comments. When you come back to plenary, just try and distill everything that you've made into 2 or 3 major points. We're only going to have, because of the time limits, we're only going to allow each group 2 minutes to make their comments. So just think about the 2 or 3 biggest changes that you think are necessary or that you want to highlight for the purposes of the plenary discussion. All right, so I'm going to stop there on this part. I'm going to turn things over to Gladys. So she's going to show you how to make the edits into the syllabus. So Gladys.
Thank you, Jonathan. Once we shared the link with all the participants today, each group will be assigned to a syllabus. And the way you could mark up your document is you could either highlight the text, change the text color, or highlight the text, use a highlighter. And the third one is highlight the text again and add your comment on the side, whether it has something to do with topic or institution. So it'll be easy for you to keep track of all your comments and feedback on the syllabus that is assigned to your group. Back to you, Jonathan.
Okay, thanks, Gladys. So we're now going to send out the invitations to the breakout rooms. And so you'll be given an invitation to a breakout room. Each breakout room is going to be given a specific Google document to work on. And so we request that when you work on the document or the syllabus for your group, that you please do so within Google Docs. All right, so that way, you know, it's saved for everyone after this session is over, and it'll still be available for everyone to see. I think that's pretty much the major instructions. Gladys or Angelo or Maria, was there anything else that we needed to mention before we send everyone into the breakout groups?
I guess that sums it up, Dr. Jonathan.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay, sending everyone now.
Yeah, Maria or Angelo, it's there was a question from Elonet about how do they know which group they belong to. I'm assuming they're going to receive a link in the breakout room to the Google Doc that they're going to work on. That's correct?
Yes,
okay.
actually going in every group.
Okay.
Everyone is already in the, we still have a few. Gladys, we still have Cherry May, not yet assigned, and Marlon, and Noel.
Sige, wait, let me try and assign them.
And Mary, maybe we could already start going to the breakout rooms and also inform them of the help button. There's a help button, right?
Yes, po.
Hel-
Yes, po.
Hello?
Hello, Angelo.
Yeah, sorry, I just came back from breakout group 9. I just shared with them the link to the updated syllabus. Mhm.
Okay. I think in breakout room 14, good. Because Lisa, I think, might not be around. So there are 3 people and break 2 people.
Uh, Team, we have
Breakout,
we have two participants that just joined in that don't have breakout group assignments yet. Kashmir and Theodorica.
yeah, let's assign them to breakout room number 14 because there are only 4 people here. And I think Attorney Lisa might be leaving because she
Okay,
also has duty. So
got it.
let's give
Will
them to
do.
breakout room 14.
Okay, I've assigned them now.
Breakout room 10 only has 2 participants too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breakout room number 2 has the most number of.
Yeah, we could move some.
But they might be starting already. What do you think?
I think we should be fine. We'll just ask. I'll just join them there and then ask them to move to the breakout room 10.
10, yes.
Okay, okay.
Hi, Kashmir Cruz. We're trying to send you to breakout room number 14. Do you see any join button on your screen?
There's no button on my screen po.
Sige, I'll try again.
Okay po, ma'am.
John, Ralph, how are they?
Ma'am, they haven't started yet po. We were still circling around the rooms po to give the links.
Okay. But I think you went to breakout room 2, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Abby is there.
Yes po.
I am having difficulty problems. Jord.
I'm trying to assign Miss Kashmir
Kashmir.
Cruz to room 8.
But I think Kashmir, yeah, why couldn't we put in waiting room? No, but sorry. Yeah, Kashmir
Or
is no
she's
longer with
there.
us. Ay,
She's
there.
there. Okay.
And we have somebody new, Nancy.
Okay.
Nancy,
I'll send to
adapt.
I'm sorry, I'm
7.
still finding my group po.
Yeah.
I just
Sige.
get back my connection po. I'm sorry, I'll still look for my breakout room po.
We will
Sorry.
we will assign you, Nancy. We will assign you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Gladys, si Nancy hindi pa natin ma-assign.
Ito minumove ko po.
Okay.
Nancy's not fully joined yet, it seems.
Yeah.
And
In the plenary.
Yes po, I'm sorry.
okay,
You just
no worries.
In group
join.
breakout room 12.
Mhm.
We assigned you there.
Where can she see the join button? She can see the join button, right?
Room 12 po, okay po. Ano po?
Okay.
And we have a new one, PRMSU College of
C7.
Law.
Yes, I sent College of Law to room 1.
Okay. Alam mo, we only have 5 more minutes to go.
Abelardo Domondon.
I can only
Let's
see
com
7
Abe.
syllabus po. Can I just pick any one from here po?
Can
Yan.
can you pick the group with the list number, Nancy?
Actually, I cannot see. I can only see 7 syllabus. Is this the page that where I supposed to pick the group?
Nancy, I will try to assign you to breakout room 6.
Yes, please, Sir Angelo. Thank you.
Okay.
Let us not assign na lang Abe. Commissioner Abelardo Dumondon will just stay in plenary.
Okay.
Yes, Com.
Hi, Angelo. I was assigned to breakout room 14.
Okay.
But I was connected. Can I rejoin?
Yes. Just you can rejoin them at any time.
Then we have Emmy Alcala.
That's
Sorry,
our team.
sorry. Okay.
okay. Okay, looks like everybody's in the room for
I
now.
think
But
what's
we have-
happening, Angelo, is people are dropping out.
Yeah.
because
So
of
we
their
just have,
connection.
right.
So yeah.
One of the things.
We have 3 more minutes. Can we add an additional 5 minutes for them as we have agreed? Can we do that, Angelo?
Yes. We won't. We don't have a set time limit for the breakout rooms at this point, so we can we can just give an announcement to everybody that we're giving an additional 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Gab, how are they? Angelo. I think there's another one, Marjorie Liano. I think she dropped off. She was here already a while ago.
Okay,
We
we
have
will.
Philip and
Yeah, okay. So I'll just assign her to. I wonder where she was earlier.
yeah, I forgot also where to.
I'll
Mark,
assign her to breakout room 8.
okay.
This is one of those things that virtual cannot simply replicate as well.
Correct. Because our internet is not that so reliable.
Yes, and it's also as well that people have hardware limitations as well. Like some of them may be joining from their mobile phones, and it's just not as in
Compatible to breakout rooms.
or yes. So in these cases, it's just better to do it physical if you can.
Yeah.
Gladys,
Yes, Attorney Mary?
we only have, I think, less than 1 minute.
We
Pero
extended.
we extended for 5 minutes.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
mm-mm.
Okay. Group number 3 haven't
Alam mo, may
started
nagsabi,
yet.
time is up for 15 minutes. Breakout room. Do you want to close all breakout rooms now? No, no, right?
No, I already clicked that we will extend.
Okay. For another 5.
Before.
So Jonathan is in the breakout rooms, right? He's somewhere there.
Yeah, I'm trying to track him now.
He's going, I think, from one place to another.
He's in breakout room 14.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some breakout rooms that are just absolutely silent. Nobody's talking.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, 13.
Even if
Emmy?
Glad?
So we'll come back at so they'll be back at 9:34. 9:34. That's 5 minutes, Angelo.
Sounds
Am I
good.
correct?
yes, but yes, that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, we're
And yeah.
I noticed that some of the groups there's nobody there. Like all the screens are the cameras are turned off, and I think they're just somewhere else.
So what do we? How do we? I will just call them per number and yeah.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll just say, for Father Saturn and Yurios University, who wants to make comments on that
Correct.
one. Yeah, and that way we'll spare any embarrassments.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. This is one we were talking about, this limitation of online delivery of service of learning. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
one really limitation. How we can manage breakout rooms, like although especially this time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's one learning when we do.
Yeah. I was really, so breakout room 7 in particular, just so you know, Donna is the only one in the room. And so she's having to work on her own. So I told her to do the best she can, and
Okay.
and we'll see what happens. So I don't know if there's a way to, okay.
We only have 2 more minutes.
Okay, yeah, and we'll see. But that's also a learning experience. For those who are not so familiar with Google Docs, yeah, that would also be a challenge. But then that would be a learning experience. Another learning tool they can use online.
For sure. I mean, everyone has to learn eventually. And I think like even learning how to do it now will help them when they start to try and use it in the classroom. So, okay, we're coming up on.
I think time is up, Gladys. It's 9:34.
Yes, Com.
We'll send them back.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Com. When we close the room, there's actually 60 seconds for
Okay.
for them
That's
to
fine.
return to the plenary.
Yeah.
But they will see the timer there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just been to breakout room 2, and it seems that they're very quiet there. Nobody wants to initiate the discussion.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. So that's the University of Cebu.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I think group 9 was active, so that should be okay.
Yeah. I resent them the link in case they were having trouble, but everybody was just like stoic and quiet, and nobody wanted to switch on their cameras or mics.
Yeah. Okay, so people are coming back in now.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. Is everyone back? Okay. So it looks like everyone is now back. Thanks for working in teams and working with your groups. I think hopefully you can see that today is, for some of you, is a learning experience, but I think this is a good thing. So you're seeing how to use the Zoom breakout rooms and how to do it in when you use it in your classrooms. And I think you're also learning how to use Google Docs. So again, this is something that you can help use in your classrooms, and you can teach your students how to use them in your classrooms. So what we're going to do is go through each syllabus in turn, and I'll call on the groups that were assigned to that syllabus. And you can tell me if the spokesperson, you can tell me if you can share screen of the Google Doc so we can see the comments that you made. And then you can provide your 2 or 3 main points that you want to add to the syllabus in question. So let us begin with the first syllabus. So this was the Fathers Saturnino Urios University. So this was groups 1 and groups 8. Did the spokespeople for groups 1 and group 8, are you able to share screen and show us what you came up with? So should we go with group 1 first?
Yes, please. Group 1 first, then we'll follow.
Okay. So group 1.
Okay, we would like to call on the reporter for group 1.
This is
Yeah, I'm reporting for group 1. Can we share the syllabus?
and we can see it. There you go.
Yes,
Okay.
it's there. Okay.
Thanks.
We were not able to discuss that much, but let me just discuss what went on. Course title for us, we think that the course title should be changed since natural resources is overblown, it's they study it in consti, they study it in property, they study it in land titles and deeds. So for this part, natural resources to be included in this course, it's up on matters relating to environmental law. For course description, one comment of our group is that we are so much limited by what the Legal Education Board gives us as coverage for the course description. In fact, any teacher who's going to teach initially NATRES and environmental law will have to look at the course description provided by the Legal Education Board, as well as the school, and try to fit it in with their requirements. So we are not entirely free to devise what is included here. But the only thing is there should be more leeway for the faculty to devise the course of teaching. So course learning outcome, if we look at the course learning outcome, we agree with everything that is included here, except that we'd like to emphasize that we should also focus on procedure, on the rules of environmental procedure. And the dilemma there is we are going to teach procedure, which is equivalent to around at least 5 to 7 units if you're going to take CRIM Pro and SIB Pro. And since environmental law is only a 2-unit course and you attempt to teach procedure to students, that will be highly insufficient. But there must be focus on procedure since it is very important in environmental law. Can we go down further?
So we'll take one more point and then we'll go on to group 8 if that's okay.
Yeah, let's go back. Yeah, course requirements. Our group is suggesting that we include there a nature classroom or a field trip. There are so many things that students do not study in a formal classroom setting, and we need to bring them out to visit places so that they can properly appreciate nature. That's the only, we stopped here, and we were not able to, yeah, even the grading system must also include a part on field trips and applied learning. We stop with grading system. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then let's group 8. Are you ready?
Yes, I'll do the report for group 8.
Okay.
Do I share my screen, sir?
If it is possible, please, yes.
Yes, sir. If you could see my screen, I'll highlight the first two. We focus on the introductory part of the syllabus, sir. And the first part of the syllabus would pertain to the Caraga landscape and the documentaries depicting significance of natural resources. We understand that the university is situated in the Caraga region. We appreciate the placement of the introductory part and the inclusion of the topic in the syllabus. What we are suggesting now is for all universities, state colleges specifically, to adopt this syllabus, but instead of making it appropriate and adapting it to the particular region and particular place, so that what could be discussed would be specific to the region where the universities are. Second, another portion made a discussion. I'll go down, scroll down to the Water Code and Clean Water Act, Again, it makes specific mention of the Caraga region, and this time in the septage management system of the city of Butuan. Again, this discussion may be appropriate for the university that presented the syllabus, but we are suggesting that if this will be included, we choose another or a more specific ordinance that would apply to their specific situs. Finally, we are asking that more jurisprudence be added. We noticed that there were only a handful of cases assigned and made part of the syllabus. It would help in the study that jurisprudence be thoroughly reviewed and included in the syllabus. That's all we discussed, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so
Stop
very
sharing my screen now.
yeah, thanks. So very succinct points. Let us proceed then to the University of Cebu Law School syllabus. So my understanding, so this is groups 2 and 9. Do we have a spokesperson who can share their screen? I thought there was someone from group 9 that was taking notes.
I guess group 9 is not yet ready.
Yeah,
Maybe we
okay.
can call another group.
Okay, let's go to West Visayas State University syllabus. So this was groups 3 and 10. Do we have a spokesperson from either group that can do a share screen?
I'm Attorney Camille from Group 10.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Can you? Okay, oh, excellent, okay.
We actually didn't finish tackling the syllabus, but I'll be only discussing the ones that we were able to discuss.
That's fine, yeah.
First off, we suggest that the mission be rephrased, adding off between transformation and community so as to have it in a complete sentence. And with regard to the institutional outcomes for instruction, we also suggest reorganizing or regrouping of the concepts or principles enumerated therein so as to group the outcomes per principle or concept so that it will be more comprehensive as to the outcomes that the university aims to have. And then we also suggest, with regard to the outcomes of the College of Law, that the number 2 outcome be rephrased, as we noticed that it already pertained to members of the legal profession, and we think that it has to only be to pertain to students because they are not yet members of the legal profession. And also have number 3 sentence be rephrased to instill qualities of a good leader among students. And we reached the program degree outcomes, and for us, this enumeration has room for improvement so as to specific enumeration of the outcomes or aimed outcomes with regard to natural resources and environmental laws, so that it will be more parallel to the course description and to the course outcomes.
Right.
We were not able to reach the course design matrix, and that's all.
Okay, all right. So thanks for that. That was very useful and insightful. So let's see, was there anyone from group 3 that was ready? Okay, so
can we call on the reporter for group 3?
so let's give a few minutes for them, but in the meantime, we'll proceed, because I'm just looking at the clock. Let's proceed to the next syllabus. So this is by some scholar, I don't know. This is for Laws 8264, this Australian environmental law syllabus. So this is groups 4 and 11. So do we have a spokesperson from either group?
Okay, I'll be representing group 4.
Okay.
Okay, let me share my screen. Is it okay now?
There we go. We can see it.
Okay. So the first is on the course description. So we would like to include the word agenda after the issues, so that more or less on the topics with respect to international environmental law, we have to make sure that the global environmental agenda will be incorporated. So we will not be limiting our discussions on the different issues. And then the second is that with respect to reading schedule, because we didn't have that much time to really go over the entire materials, but what we did is browse of all of the topics, and one of the recommendations that we are providing with respect to the inclusion of the word environmental agenda is to make sure that in all of these materials, we will be including an optional reading with respect to the relationship of all of these environmental issues to Sustainable Development Agenda. So that is our recommendation, which means that this particular topic on December 14 on Sustainable Development Agenda as an optional reading will be distributed in all of the topics on environmental issues. Therefore, our major recommendations, as on the last part, is this. First, on the course description, wait, okay, here. On the course description, again, inclusion of the World Environmental Agenda, so that we have to make sure that we will be introducing to our students the importance of Sustainable Development Agenda and be able to connect the rule of law environmental issues with SDG 2013 and its 30 and its targets. On topics, of course, one of the recommendations of our group mates is to make sure that there's a specific topic on indigenous communities, because we all know that all of these environmental issues are not really very environmental at all. They also affect social issues, which particularly involve indigenous communities. So there should be a specific date for a specific topic on indigenous community. And then, of course, again, in all of these topics, make sure that we will have an optional reading to be able to link the environmental issues with a specific goal on the 2013 agenda. And with respect to institutions, we have to make sure that we will be introducing our students on the potential responsibilities of intergovernmental organizations in relation to the national government. So those are our 3 recommendations.
All right, great. Thank you. And then group 11 is, do we have someone?
How do I stop sharing? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I see it. Okay, now.
Okay, thanks. So group 11, we have a few minutes. You can share screen if you want.
Hi, good morning. This is Carla Espinosa. I'll be reporting for group 11. We weren't able to annotate the document, so I don't think I need to share the screen.
Okay, that's fine.
The same document.
That's fine.
So we also didn't have enough time to review the document, the syllabus thoroughly, but we do have general comments. We're also having internet problems, so I suppose our general comments include, well, first, we observed that the course or subject is beyond or different from what most of us currently teach, which is introductory level natural resource and environmental law. The syllabus under review appears to be for advanced graduate level studies. So we hesitated to critique it. Nonetheless, we observed that the course description is clearly stated, and for its stated scope and purpose, the syllabus presents a broad and comprehensive perspective on the subject, which is international environmental law. We also noted that the required readings seem to be a balanced mix of textbooks, journal articles, even in international documents, as well as cases. We appreciated what we observed to be a course requirement that involves critical analysis and practical application. So that was all we were able to discuss given the time.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, so let's go to the next syllabus. So this is the International Environmental Law syllabus. It was more generic. So this is groups 5 and 12. Do we have a secretariat or spokespeople? Persons?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Jonathan. I'll be reporting for group 5. I'll be sharing my screen. So good morning, everyone. Same thing, no, we have problems with connection of my group mates and the time constraint. So we're able to come up only with a very general comment on this. One general comment about the syllabus is that you look, the group has observed that although this is entitled International Environmental Law Syllabus, then there is a local reference to Caraga, and certain portions of this, like session 1 would involve Caraga resources and challenges. So we think we're raising the question or comment why Caraga and what is the significance of Caraga in relation to international law. And we're not able to go through the whole syllabus, and same with the other parts of the syllabus that I am showing right now. The remedy that we think is that maybe a very specific international environmental law in the context of the environmental problem of Caraga, and I think that will do the works in terms of remedying the syllabus, because even the objective shows the specific objective of relating it to the issues of Caraga. That's our comment of the group in the syllabus.
All right, thanks for that, and well done with such a long. There was a lot of material to look at, but well done. Anyone from Group 12 wanted to comment?
Yes, I will be the spokesperson for Group 12. But may I extend my apologies to everyone that we have difficulty in trying to contact everyone in the group, and my difficulty in terms of technology. If I make use of my video, my camera, then my interconnectivity will slow down extremely.
Understood.
So, actually, for limited time, I could not structure my screen. So may I just share with the group this?
That's fine.
Observations. Now, on the course title, we have no objection, on the course description as well. But in the course learning outcomes, we would like to include more discussion, more in-depth discussion and analysis of cases, especially the later ones, the latest cases. Then we want also to awaken our students on legal advocacy on natural resources. I think this is one area where we are simply confined to classroom setting. And we have not really awakened, we have not really steered our students to go out from the classroom setting and make an active advocacy on natural resources, especially on solid waste management, on segregation, on proper disposal of solid wastes. And I want also to add field trips. Field trips, we really have to reconcile our classroom learnings with the actual setting,
Mm.
especially this, if we are able to go to mines, actual mining projects, this will be a very good starter for our students to wake up on legal advocacy on natural resources. Now, we also zeroed in on exams. I want to require students to revisit environmental laws, our environmental laws. Now, as an added challenge to the students, we recommend that students be required to revisit these environmental laws, choose which one that appeals to them, and they will be required to prepare a treatise or sort of a thesis, which will incorporate their criticisms or their observations regarding these laws, which we intend to present to the legislature to form part, Bali, of our position, why some of these cases need to be amended, enhanced, or point to them which portions or phases of these cases have become obsolete and needs revision or enhancements, or to be reconciled with the magnitude of the problems that those laws intend to address. Those are all, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. Now let's get to the ABC College of Law. So this is groups 6 and 13. Do we have spokespeople from either group?
Hello, good morning. I'm the reporter for Group 6. And
Okay.
may I ask the Secretariat to please flash the syllabus for ABC College? Okay.
Okay. Yep, we can see it.
Yes, we were not able to finish everything reviewing the ABC College of Law course syllabus, but we would like to highlight some of our suggestions. Okay, so the number one suggestion is we are going to include the RPEC, or the rules of procedure. Can you please go down? In environmental cases after the introductory part. So we suggest that it should be put as yes, part 2. No, it's after the introduction. We're going to include this rules of procedure in in environmental cases, because it failed to include this one. And it's very important to impart this to the students, as this RPEC is very unique to the Philippines. And in fact, the novel Wreath of Kalikasan originated from our country, and maybe we would be so proud to lecture this to them. And in fact, foreign countries are adopting this, or maybe learning from this RPEC. Okay, so and we add there the case of BT Talong in the topic Wreath of Kalikasan, and in the case for precautionary principle, the case of Mosqueda versus Filipino Banana Growers and Exporters Association. Okay, so and the case of the word there, IPRA law, should be changed only to IPRA, because my attention has been called when we say IPRA, it's already an act. So it would be redundant for us to say IPRA law. Okay, and some of the international issues, I think it has not been included in the syllabus. So international environmental protection is an international welfare. So we should include the international issues in our syllabus. And the 4 major exams that is required of the student is a bit taxing. Maybe we can change these 4 exams to maybe 2 major exams, and then we can substitute 1 or 2 exams to like what we call this, experiential learning. So in my class, every semester I require them to have tree planting, mangrove planting. And in fact, we have also outreach activity to our indigenous communities. And also we have this artificial reef deployment in one of the marine protected areas here in our place. So I think that's it for group 6.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Anyone from group 13? Okay. All right. I'm going to proceed to the St. Louis University or St. Louis University School of Law syllabus. So this is group 7 and 14. Do we have anyone willing to make a presentation or share a screen for that syllabus?
Hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
I think yeah, I had it in my company, I think deans, and so I would be the one.
Okay.
We were not able to choose actually the reporter for our group because I think we started late.
That's fine.
We actually had several comments
Okay.
here that we made. So for the first comment, we made only general comments on the syllabus. So the first comment that we have, let me share my screen.
Okay, we see it.
Okay. I think it's on the bottom, Gab, if you want to show.
Almost there.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Which part?
All right. So we had to just quickly go through the syllabus. And so the general comments would be, this seems like a very comprehensive syllabus, but we noticed that they utilize the natural division between natural resources laws and environmental laws. So this was traditionally separate subjects, and I think this was fused together later on into natural resources environmental laws. So for the natural resources laws portion, they focus on exploitation laws and jurisprudence, while environmental laws focus on protection laws. But they need to include, for the latter, more environmental protection laws such as solid waste management law, Clean Water Act, even the amended Fisheries Code, as well as latest jurisprudence. So another comment was that they should include scholarly articles on the benefit of fighting for the environment, especially from the global perspectives, because we note that this was just really traditional for a type of teaching, like it really focuses on the laws, provisions, as well as the cases. Then I also made some comments on the learning outcomes, that the learning outcome should focus also on higher level learning outcome, not just to identify or the rote memorization learning outcome. So yes, so those are all that we were able to discuss, and I would like to invite the other members of my team to add if they have something to add.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. So then, and then was anybody else? Any from? I think it was group 7. Was that also?
Yes, Jonathan, can I
yes, go ahead.
share my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the only one. I was the only one left in this. So I was hoping that they would come back, and I just posted my comments. But here's the summary of that. I think it's now on the screen. It's the St. Louis University of Baguio. So here are the 2 points, since you said focus on 2. The first one, it really is a very comprehensive overview. And I really think it would benefit law students, especially the people of Baguio. it focused very much on public lands, details about public lands versus private lands, ancestral lands, mining, forestry, which are major issues in this area. And then it doesn't stop there. It goes and concludes with the rules of procedure. So it actually teaches students what to do or what actions they will face in environmental law practice. It also mentions EIA, which is quite technical, and the environmental education awareness law, which is required in all higher education. So I thought that was a very, very good initiative for this professor or this school. And it really has to be a 3-unit subject because it's 31 pages with so many cases. And however, the only thing I found a bit, which I wanted to see, would be in international environmental concepts. So I just presume that these concepts were discussed by the professor when he talked about all these subjects, the constitution, all these resources. So, but it's not specifically mentioned in his syllabus. But overall, this is very relevant. If I were a student in Baguio or Cordillera studying at St. Louis, this is good for me. I mean, I can really practice environmental. It's all there. So it's really for Baguio and the Cordillera region. I mean, for someone in Metro Manila, unless I would want to practice this thing, it has so many details. They don't need field work because that's where they live. I mean, the mining companies are there, the forestry, the forest fires, I mean, a little bit of them, it's all there. So they would have a lot of experience already. So I guess that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, okay, thank you. And great job working on your own. That's admirable. So, okay, so I thank everyone for the comments and for the hard work. I know it was a limited time, but I think you all have a sense of what it means to review a syllabus. And I think all of you indicated, the kinds of things, the issues that crop up. So well done. The other thing is I want to thank everyone who donated their syllabi. So that is, and that you were open for comments and feedback. So we're all very grateful for that. I think we're going to take a break now and then we'll come back. And so then the second half of today, we're going to be doing the same kind of breakout room with plenary, but this time focused on pedagogy, like looking at the syllabus in terms of what is it, what's the kind of teaching methods that we want to be using for the topics that are in the syllabi. So let's go ahead and take a break. And then Gladys, Angelo, Maria, did you want to specify how much time we're going to take for the break?
All right, so we will be having a 5-minute break. So we would like to remind everyone to be back in the Zoom room at 10:15 a.m. and we continue the activity for today's workshop. Thank you. All right, welcome back again, and we will now proceed to the activity of the Syllabus Review Workshop, where you will tackle pedagogy. So before I give the floor to our resource speaker for the instructions, we would like to request everyone to actively participate during the breakout room session and turn on your video camera if you have no problem with your internet connection, so that you would have a more personal and engaging discussion. So I'll give to you Dr. Jonathan.
Okay, all right, thanks, Maria. Let me just share screen just so we can show you the instructions for the second half today. Okay, so on your screen, you should see the chart that I had from the very first session about a month ago regarding pedagogy. So when we talked about pedagogy, this was the teaching technique, forms of technology that we were willing to use, and then the particular kinds of knowledge, skills, or values that we were trying to encourage within our students. So this is, again, just a framework. These aren't things that are necessary, but these are things to think about in terms of pedagogy. So just like the first half, we're doing the same thing. We're going to breakout rooms for 15 minutes. You're going back to the the same syllabus as you did before, but this time with a fresh page, so you won't see the comments you had from the very first part. So this will allow you to take a fresh perspective about the syllabus you're looking at. And once again, go ahead and provide comments about the kinds of things that you would want to see regarding pedagogy. These aren't necessarily things you're asking the professor to write down into the syllabus, but at least for them to think about how to incorporate pedagogy into what they have in the syllabus. So this will be 15 minutes. I think things will go faster this time because everyone is more familiar with the Google Docs and the breakout rooms, and they will come back. And once again, in plenary, we'll ask that each group have someone who's willing to share a screen and describe the 2 or 3 main points that they want to offer for everyone else. So let me stop share now. And whoops, well, sorry. Okay, so I stop share, and then we'll have the breakout rooms. So one thing we're going to try and do is that some of the breakout rooms are very small, so people have left, and we're going to try and merge you into the other groups, but the same groups that are working on the syllabus that you were looking at before. So I'll turn it over to Maria, Angelo, and Gladys.
We're opening the rooms now.
They're all here.
Thanks everyone for coming back. And looks like everyone had a productive session. So we're going to repeat the same order that we did from the first half. Let's start with the Father Saturnino Urios University. So this was groups 1 and 8. I think we merged groups actually. So with group 1, do you have someone who can share screen and provide your comments?
Yeah, from Attorney Mary na lang siguro. Can you just share the screen? Because we only looked at the grading system because that is where everything is included.
Okay.
So let me just make a comment on the grading. The teaching technique will be, if you look at the teaching technique, long exam is 40 and classwork is 60. So our group's comment is this. Most agreed that we should focus more on output, on research, and application of what the students have learned, such that they can do draft and present position papers. Also, we should also include experiential learning, which includes field trips. For my class, I call this a nature classroom. Okay, so most of us agree that it should be a mixture and not really a focus on a particular teaching technique. We also included there a book review. Okay, so we picked up one book and for the entire class to study during the semester. In my case, it is a civil action, a water contamination case. We're planning to use next time the new book about dark waters, right?
Yeah.
On technology, we discuss, we do not really have any choice at this time except to focus on online learning, blended, maybe next year, some form of a face-to-face class, and probably we can visit nature once more. On knowledge, focus on scientific, on data, on research. Skills, these are the skills we want to see from students. We want to improve their debating skills. We want to have less memorization. There must be more discussion in class and more explanation coming from the professors as well as the students. And one comment also said, we need to develop students' investigative skills, right? For values, we need to inculcate in our students the value of public service. There are 2 parts to environmental law. There is a private part and a public part. Private part is the money-making part. but I think our group wants to focus more on public service part of environmental law. We need to develop in our students leadership and cooperation, because in any environmental undertaking or any undertaking for that matter, you will always find people who are free riders. And environmental law requires everybody to participate. We cannot just rely on the DENR and government agencies to do the cleaning, to do the protection. People must help. Okay, so we need to promote advocacy among students. The environment is not a recognized legal personality, and that's why there should be more focus on the environment, and we need to promote environmental awareness among our young students. Prior to taking environmental law, most do not have environmental consciousness. And also, lastly, we must promote and inculcate in our students their duty to the courts, of respecting the courts during proceedings and during when handling environmental cases. So those are our comments. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thanks for that. It's quite an extensive list of things regarding pedagogy, but that's good. That's good. Let's go to the next. So next one is the University of Cebu syllabus. And once again, we merged the groups. We merged group 2 and 8. So is there someone who can speak on behalf of the group? Okay, let's give I'll give you a few minutes, but for the sake of time, we're going to proceed to the next one. So this is the West Visayas State University. So this is groups 3 and 10. So was there anyone from group 3 who would be willing to share their comments?
Okay, good morning. I'm going to share
Okay, thank you.
some of what we've discussed. Okay, is this the, I'm not sharing the screen. I don't know who shared the screen. Anyway.
We can see it. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, sorry. I can't share the screen and because we cannot edit the file anyway. So as a general assessment, I think the syllabus is quite extensive. It contains some of experiential learning but limited to online classes. So we notice it's online classes, but the experience is simulated through group activity. And then written outputs are done through reflection papers. And then there's also a little bit of taste of lectures and class recitations for student participation. We would just like to on experiential learning, if it's possible for students to have a limited face-to-face experience with, anything in a local community with environmental law issues, if that's possible, to add that one. And on the assessment, instead of having just a final exam, it's going to be like a formative assessment, for example, per topic, instead of just a midterm and a final exam. And then it would also be good to have a moot court activity for group activity, where students can actually argue on some legal issues in environmental law. So it would be a good interaction for students in a moot court, semi-moot court competition, even in a limited space. So
Okay.
that's all for group 3.
Okay, thank you. And then group 10, you were also working on the same syllabus?
Yes, sir. We work on the same syllabus. So these are our observations. First, we noticed that the syllabus was more classroom-based learning, and it uses the traditional approach. What do we want to do? First, as in the first group who reported, we wanted to restructure the grading system because we feel that the grading system should not focus on the written examinations alone. Next, we also we are so fortunate in our group that two of us in our group are both licensed environmental planners. So aside from being a lawyer, I am also licensed by the PRC as an environmental planner, and we also have a licensed environmental planner coming from the University of Cebu. And we agree with what the University of Cebu is doing, team teaching. So it is not necessary that only lawyers will be allowed to teach the subject, because someone who has been trained, like what we have in this discussion, who got his postgraduate degree in climate change to focus on a particular segment of the course on climate change. And I think that is a very good input, no? Maybe we should consider having team teaching as part of our innovative approach to learning. Next, the other observation we made is that most of these concern or topics on environmental law is so oriented on physical, natural resources. We have taken out, and for me, I have always considered environmental law should include cultural and historical heritage of a people. So we should also be mindful about the rights of our indigenous peoples. And I think the Philippine jurisprudence has been enriched by a leading case, no? It's an old case decided by the US Supreme Court and written by the Chief Justice, no less, of the US Supreme Court. Our case of Carino versus the insular government of the United States of America. I think we should look back and tell ourselves what kind of innovations we can still add in this process of teaching environmental law. Then, of course, we also agree with the other groups that we should encourage critical thinking among our students and really make it part of the objective for the students to take them out of the box of the usual learning process. We should make them realize that they have an important and significant role to play in the future when they become lawyers. That is generally what we have settled in our analysis. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, excellent. Thank you. So let's then turn to my syllabus. And admittedly, it was an LLM course. So this is groups 4 and 11. And I think there were still 2 separate groups. So is anyone from group 4 willing to share comments?
Oh, okay. Again, since I'm representing our group 4, so I will be sharing. Actually, that is one of our initial comment, that this is actually designed for a graduate study and not really on the undergraduate law school. So we are correct. It's an LLM. So anyway, we look at the grading system. So our suggestion is with respect to the short assignment. So instead of having 2 brief essays, we are suggesting to limit it into 1, but provide 3 suggestions on how to go over with the alternative essay. So we have here 3 suggestions, but of course the percentage could be 20 to 10. And then we can actually invite our students on the first day of our class to choose which of these 3 options will be best suited in the class. The first is, of course, a quiz. Because if you look at the materials, there are so many, and how are we going to encourage the students to actually read them? So we can have, don't call it a final exam, call it like a 10 multiple quiz at the end of the semester, which means that for every lecture, we will be having 1 specific question, and that will be like 1 question per lecture. At the end of the semester will be a multiple choice, but that is just to encourage them to read. Or we can actually encourage them to do a role playing, because when we look at environmental or international law, one of the skills that we really need to incorporate to our students is negotiation. So we can actually suggest that at the end of the semester, instead of another essay, we will be having a role-playing simulation, an international negotiation, wherein they will be representing their essay. And we're not actually encouraging moot court competition, because in terms of international environmental law, I think the skill that we think that the skill that is really very important is more on negotiation. Or we can actually encourage them, at least if this will be focused more on the Philippine setting, because I asked them to look at the Philippine setting on the possibility of not just a simulation, but an actual case negotiation, is for them to participate in the legal clinic, more particularly on that their essay will be aligned to a specific issue in their locality, and they will be participating in the legal clinic and then be able to have an actual case negotiation. That is on the short assignments. So could have 20 and 10%. You choose among the suggestions. And in terms of policy brief, so here we can have an optional, because again, some of us are really encouraging immersion. So, but because this is more of a graduate school requirement, so we can actually encourage them to have, instead of policy brief, an option to do a specific case study, which will require a student, specifically if the student is facing a specific environmental issue that can be a policy brief, that the brief will be involving a specific case study, which will require that particular student to have a field trip and analyze the specific environmental issues in their localities and be able to connect them with the emerging international environmental law. So that is an option for those who have, because not all students will be able to have an opportunity to actually do a case study in their specific locality. And then for a bonus, of course, I mean, you may choose the additional percentage. We can actually encourage students to do peer review and provide critical analysis of their classmate policy brief. So that is like an option. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. And then group 11.
Yes, may I be allowed to share my screen? It's very short.
Yep, go ahead.
We've decided to just present some points. Okay, so for group 11, initially we noticed that there was a lack of course objectives. So it was quite difficult to really critique it against the lack of specific objectives. But I'm sure the course description is also quite already manifested some of the course objectives generally. So on teaching techniques, the syllabus, we are also of the same view that it's for advanced studies, not necessarily for students who are delving into environmental law for the first time. So, yes. Okay. Okay, so the syllabus states that focus or attention will be given to both theoretical and practical implementation. I think that's a good thing. The bulk of the classes will be used on interactive lecture and discussion. Required outputs are purely written submissions. So we also noticed that ample guidance is provided by the professor, which is also very good. But we noticed a lack of group work to develop collaboration skills in the students and other practical real-world activities, which I think Group 4 has already articulated also. So maybe we were thinking maybe some legal aid clinic work or maybe some case study work. Okay. Also on the technology, we noticed that the course is conducted, of course, purely online, and applications like Wattle and Turnitin are used. Okay, so next slide. Okay, on knowledge, the scope of the course and the range of materials are very comprehensive. There are required readings, but also optional readings. But since the materials that are required are already comprehensive, I think there was a comment in our group that maybe the students might not have time anymore to read the optionals. There appears to be no explicit course objectives, which I've mentioned already. And on skills, there is a focus on critical thinking and analysis, which is very much appreciated. And of course, the application in the policy requirement, policy paper requirement. So since there are no stated values formation objectives, although students are probably expected to reflect this in their written submissions. So that's it for group 11. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's get to the International Environmental Law Syllabus. So this is groups 5 and 12. Let's see, was there someone from group 5?
Good morning.
Yes.
I'll be reporting again for group 5, because I think I have the fortune of having a better internet connection than my other group mates.
Okay.
So can I share my screen? But we're sharing a very general comment on the syllabus.
Okay.
I'd like to share my comment. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Yes. So as a general comment, to enhance the syllabus, we are suggesting also inclusion of experiential learning. For instance, doing field visits, considering that we observe in the syllabus, bringing in the issues in environmental issues affecting the Caraga area, and I think most especially issues on mining. And it's also good to include the online forum with experts on the topic, like inviting speakers from DENR and GB, or the specific sector affected by the issues on environmental issues in Caraga. And then it will also be good if there be opportunity for students to have interaction with the community affected by the specific issues like mining, I've said. And part of the evaluation or assessment process would be at the end of the course, a student will be required to submit a mini thesis or paper to reflect their learnings and their analysis of the international law as applied to specific laws affecting Caraga and other issues. I think that's all for our group. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that. And then next, it was going to be group 12. Is there someone from group 12?
Good morning.
Morning.
Actually, hindi ko po alam kung may ibang members pa sa group. But we have this, just look at the syllabus and then general comment na lang po. Actually, kung makikita niyo yung syllabus, baka pwede pong, I think it was also presented by group 11. It's the pedagogy of the syllabus actually are a mixture of everything. Parang nakikita po yun doon yung mga online tools na ginamit. Yung gumawa ng syllabus, may online assessment tool po doon, like mind map, and then Mentimeter, ginamit din po doon. And then, makikita talaga sa assessment that it actually really encourages critical thinking, especially na parang may paper, a lot of paper works for the students, but there are also a lot of video presentation. And I think during this pandemic, parang hindi po talaga masyadong makakapunta sa field. Kasi in fact, sa school dito sa Butuan, yung face-to-face, kahit face-to-face classes are very limited. So how much more po yung mga field trips. But in this case, may mga field visitation pa rin na nakalagay sa syllabus, and then the students it still has this experiential learning in terms of interaction with the community. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you. So we will proceed with ABC College of Law. So this was, I think, group 6 and 13 merged together. So do we have a speaker for group 13 then?
Yes po, good morning. I'm Nancy for group 6 and group 13. We will directly discuss po our suggestions on the syllabus on environmental law, and our main teaching technique po focus on the doctrinal and experiential based learning. That's what we would like to inject in the syllabus. And to be able to do that, we would like to maximize the technology using the documentary films that are already available. Maybe those may be provided also by the ADB and other platforms. We would also like to continue some previous efforts on the conduct of webinars, just like the bicycle festival and training on rainwater catches. There could also be NGOs or non-government organizations to speak on the development and advocacy in resolving conflicts in the respective communities. And students would also like to use or to report using PowerPoint presentations and other technological platforms regarding genetically modified organisms and other related topics for to give them more information on what is actually happening. And with this, we would like to emphasize the creation or to establish a knowledge on environmental awareness, to initiate, to volunteer, and to have our learners participate in various community efforts regarding the environment, such as the drafting of an ordinance to be suggested to the local government units, which would be tailor-fitted in the respective areas, which maybe the local government unit can adopt. And we would also, and with this, the students would be, our learners would be able to develop technical skills from the assistance from the respective legislative bodies in the local government unit, the technical assistance or knowledge in the creation of ordinances or laws. There would also be an outreach program on the indigenous people, such as involving them in different activities, teaching them how to do waste disposal, to protect or to how to establish their hygienes and other related matters. Although there is a pandemic, there can still be immersion activities, or maybe they can assume different roles, as what I mentioned a while ago, as lawmakers and any other things that can be maximized if the face-to-face interactions would not yet still be appropriate. And with this, we will, for our values, our learners are expected to learn or to develop a social and environmental awareness and concern, conflict sensibility, and to have a practical knowledge to be participative in their respective community efforts. That's for group 6 and 13. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, thank you. Let's finish up with the St. Louis University School of Law syllabus. So once again, we merged groups 7 and 14 together. So do we have someone who is the spokesperson for? Okay.
Hi, Jonathan again.
Right.
Yeah, so I was a self-appointed spokesperson before, so I think they said they agreed that I would speak again for reporting this time. So we actually discussed at the start that, you know, we cannot do away with lecture and discussion, but still after that we also discuss about several teaching methodologies that may help improve because from what we've seen from the syllabus of St. Louis University, it seems like it's the traditional form of teaching, which is lectures and recitations of students, you know, the Socratic method perhaps. And so we discuss several teaching methodologies like integrating moot court exercises. Some were raising the fact that this might be challenging because of the time required for preparation. But also there were comments that we could give students some time to prepare, like 2 weeks before, and assign the moot problem, and then let them work with groups, and then have them enough time for preparations of the memorial or the pleadings, and then have the actual class hour where they can have the oral argumentation before judges, and the judges would be from law alumni who were also previous tutors, just like what I do in my class. In addition to that, it was also shared with us that in one law school, they have a separate subject of environmental litigation, so which is a 2-unit course, which allows them to focus on the rules of procedure. They actually handle actual clients, and so that's actually you know, a very good opportunity to integrate more skills-based approach in teaching environmental law. Another also discussion centered around the course-based integration of clinical legal education program, where they integrate the environmental law subject in their legal clinics, and they're able to help possible sectors like the IPs or the LGUs in terms of their outreach programs and for their students in the clinical legal education. Other suggestions would be like professorial lectures. For instance, one law school invites Attorney Oposa every year for their professorial lecture. Another suggested also guest lectures from government agencies like the DNR. Also, since field trips will be difficult at this time, another suggestion would be to show relevant movies and documentaries, and then they let students watch these movies and documentaries, and then post guide questions that will be discussed during as synchronous learning sessions. And so for finally, one suggestion was also to integrate in the topic ASEAN environmental law, because not many students are aware about ASEAN environmental law. For instance, the important agreements like the ASEAN Haze Agreement, an agreement on disaster resilience, and the Mekong River Agreement. So we're more aware about what's happening regionally within our area. So those are I think the suggestions that are given by my group mates. Unless I missed something and my group mates would like to add, feel free to add your thoughts and ideas. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. Thanks everyone for your participation and your comments and the thoughts. So I think just to help close things, because we're over time now, but just to help close things for today, there are two larger points that I just want to provide. First is that I think you can see that amongst us here today, there was a lot of brainstorming, a lot of very creative ideas. And so I think there's a rich body of innovation for all of you collectively together. Today was not meant to be a final day. This was not meant to be a final decision about a model syllabus. But again, we're facilitating an ongoing discussion about what you hope will be a sense of guidelines for a potential model syllabus for the LEB as a whole. And so I think that, you can see that there's a lot of things to sort of discuss and think through, but that also is a good thing, because it means that there's a lot of chance to introduce a lot of really cutting edge ideas into the new environmental law curriculum. The second point I want to make, and this is just a cautionary tale based on what I've seen in other countries, is that when we use the term model syllabus, that does not mean that it's going to be mandatory and uniform across all law schools, right? That we want to encourage each law school to take advantage of the resources in their local area. We want each law school to take advantage of the local conditions to expose students to the specific contextual circumstances within surrounding the law school and the community. And we also want to make the law schools relevant for the communities as well. So whatever we decide as a model syllabus is really just sort of the core. It's just a core or a minimum, and that there should be enough flexibility built in that allows each law school in the future to go ahead and adapt the model syllabus to take advantage of the local resources and to make things relevant for the local communities. So I'll just make those 2 points as the final comments on my side. And hopefully what we did today is will facilitate and encourage more brainstorming as we go forward into the future. So that's all I have to say. And so thanks everyone for your comments and your participation. And thanks all the people who contributed their syllabi and were willing to accept constructive comments on your syllabi. So thank you. And I'll turn things over to Gladys and Angelo and Maria. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor. So before we end today's session, we would like to award the virtual plaque to our resource speaker. So the excuse me, the Legal Education Board presents this Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Jonathan Lelcheblad, Associate Professor of Australian National University, for sharing his time, knowledge, expertise as resource speaker during the Environmental Law Teachers Online Training Program, 5th session Syllabus Review Workshop held via Zoom virtual conference and given this 27th day of October in the year of our Lord 2021. Signed on behalf of the board by our chairperson, Ana Marie Melanie B. Trinidad. Okay, so we would also like to thank our participants who shared their syllabus to help us in our workshop today. We have Attorney Lisa Esma Osorio of the University of Cebu School of Law. We also have Attorney Marjorie Montero Llano of Father Saturnino Urias University, Judge Alonet S. Regodo Perez, and Dean Pauline Alfuente of West Visayas State University. We also have Attorney Jericho Gaiva of St. Louis University, and of course, Associate Professor Jonathan Lelcheblad. So for documentation purposes, we would like to request everyone to turn on their video camera for a quick photo op. So our colleague from ADB will be taking the pictures. This may take some time since we have 72 in the room. So Angelo, Gladys.
All right. Okay, everybody, switch on their cameras on 3, 1, 2, and 3. One more, 2 more, 1, 2, and 3. Last one. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, everyone. And as a last reminder, please don't forget the registration form for your attendance and the evaluation form. And also for those who wish to share their experiences in the training program, the link for the interview form is provided in the chat box. We will also send to you in your email address the link to our next session this November 3, 2021 with the topic Pedagogical Enrichment on Environmental Law. Please check your inbox and spam messages. And as I've announced earlier today, the December 8th session is a non-mandatory session, but we encourage everyone to join us for the last session. And considering this, we will only require 8 session out of the 11 session for the issuance of the certificate. So we hope everyone enjoys today's workshop, and we thank our resource speaker for his very active participation during the breakout session, as well as to our guests and our participants. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.